What's up, trending? I'll make sure this YouTube starts. There we go. What's up? All right, what's up, how's everybody doing? Freaking Friday, man. You know you're a real one if you're here on a Friday looking at charts, hanging out with me. My name's Eddie, by the way. Trader at Tactical Edge Trading, for anybody who's new listening in. Yeah, let's talk about the markets. Let's talk about today, man. CPI. Bad trading day, dude? I'm sorry to hear that. I actually had a really good day trading. I want to talk about a few trades we took in the Discord, and then we can kind of expand on there, maybe look for some swing plays. I am seeing some interesting things in the market right now. There's a few things in particular around crypto. I don't want to get too ahead of ourselves, but yeah, man. Let's take a look at S&P, and I want to walk you guys through a play this morning that I caught. I didn't really talk about it in the Discord because I was kind of muted. I was in the zone today. I just some days I'm in there and just talking. Some days I'm in the zone. I can't be messed with. And today was one of those days. I was locked in. So look, I want to take you back on bar replay mode because I want you guys to see exactly how this plays out. All right. And by the way, before I went live, I spent 45 minutes trying to make a video on exactly what I'm going to go over right now. And I could not lock it in for some reason, man. I just kept fucking stumbling my words. It was funny. So look, man, I woke up this morning. I saw this play here. I'm like, this could be something interesting, right? So look, Asia puts in a low. What does London do? London comes and sweeps that low. I wake up and I'm like, I missed the SFP, obviously, because I wasn't going to catch a London SFP. But I was like, hey, there's a back test there. So I'm like, how many people I bet got trapped in this candle right here? Or about to get fucked, basically, is what I'm going to say. So normally what I would do is I would have done this in the past, right? And I'm sure a lot of people did do this. You either caught the SFP or maybe you got the back test, right? And you're like, I'm going to take this and ride this up. I'm going to ride this up to here. Because that's the area I would target. If I was going long from down here, I'd be looking for up here for a TP. So a lot of people probably played that move there. Well, the mistake was 15 minutes before CPI, this is when this little bounce happened. And an hour before the market opens. Now look at this shit. They run it up, and then this is fucked up what they do. And New York opens. See, just fucking New York opens here. And they just run it straight down and take everybody out this morning. So, all right, I'm going to pause it right there. So that being said, I watched this happen. I was laughing my ass off this morning because this is like Ben's favorite thing. He loves SFPs. So like he probably, if he would have been there, he probably would have bid on that one. So I obviously didn't get this wick because you see, that was real time, by the way. That's how fast that happened. What I did manage to catch though was this right here. Let me get rid of that. Sorry, guys. There we go. Right there. That back test there, I caught that. And what I did was I was like, look, I had to put it under the wick. So I was like, man, this is a big percentage. But I was targeting up here. So it ended up being like a 2 to 4 risk reward. But as soon as it started getting green and went up here, I put my stop to break even. So I wasn't in risk for long, but I was like, that was a pretty good sweep. And look, this is what ended up happening. I'm going to speed this up a little bit. So look, never even went back to my break even and ended up hitting my TP. Now, if you were long here, you're right. 100% you are right, but you're wrong on your timing and you're wrong on your entry. You just got to wait for the trap. That's something I learned from in Tactical Edge. In particular, someone who's an expert at that is Ben. He loves waiting for the trap traders. He uses Delta and all that stuff to kind of identify the trap. So yeah, man, if you guys are ever interested in learning this kind of stuff or getting better at trading or just sharpening your own skills, check us out at tacticaledgetraders.com and join our Discord. They're both free. It's not going to cost you anything to do either. But anyway, that was the play we caught on S&P this morning. Well, at least I caught it. I'm not sure if anybody else did. Again, I was being selfish this morning. But I'm going to show you Bitcoin. We actually watched this on Bitcoin this morning. So let me get rid of this range. I'm going to get rid of some stuff here. Just kind of go back to basics, right? So this was a tricky one on Bitcoin. And I'm going to explain why it was a tricky one. And I'm going to start with a recap because I kind of want... I like starting with recaps. I don't know. It seems right, doesn't it? So look. Let's go back to 8:30. So what did we have this morning? And I talked about this. I posted this in the Discord. I was like, look, we're breaking trend, but we did the same thing yesterday at the same exact time. Look, 8 o'clock, we broke trend. And then what we did, we failed on market open. As soon as the market opened, it just dumped down, man. It just went. So I was like, I'm not falling victim to the same trap, so I'm going to wait. And I think a few people did wait. This is when you would have got in. So you're going to get an opportunity here. Right there. Did you see it? That's how quick it happened. It came back down, tested VWAP. I bet you a lot of people went short here thinking the same thing was going to play out from yesterday, and they just ran it up. This is shorts getting squeezed, by the way. Like, that's how fast it was moving up. That was shorts getting squeezed this morning. And look, Bitcoin ended up being a freaking bomb play. Like, if you got in long back down here, you're up. I mean, you're sitting up here right now kind of waiting, but, I mean, that was a pretty good move. I think Donkey called it. A few guys in the Discord called it. I don't know if anybody got it off the VWAP, but Dunk was in, I think, before that. It was a 4% move on the day. So, nothing to fade. Anyway, let me get out of replay mode. Yeah, I'll take a look at... This is live. It's not pre-recorded. This is live. What's up, Sarah? Sorry. I just saw you said hi like 5 times. You getting short on BTC right now? Fuck no, dude. We're not shorting right now. I'm gonna talk you guys through my game plan in a minute. I'm gonna look at some NQ. Let's just look at the NQ. Let's look at the big markets, and I'm gonna talk you through my game plan on what I'm thinking at least. So look, I'll be honest. I'll tell you what I am short. I am short on SPY. I got real short today on SPY, but that was part of my plan. So look, NQ. Let's just go to a higher time frame, talk about what happened with NQ. Let's see where we're sitting at, right? And see if anything's changed from the last time we spoke. So one thing I'm going to say about NQ. NQ, we've been talking about this trend since April of last year, tariff lows. We've been holding above it. We lost it. We back tested, right? I called this back here. I said, this is probably the high. If they do come up and sweep this, just short it. Like that was my plan. I was like, anything higher than this, I'm shorting immediately. And look, we're rejecting off trend, and we came back up, and we're starting to roll over again. And it kind of makes sense where we're rolling over. Like, if you just look, like, the area it's pushed, I think at some point we're coming down. Whether we chop around and mess around up here, I think ultimately, like, my bias is more to the downside now in Q. I think we're probably going to see 24,000 at some point in the next week or two. Until this range is broken, which I'm going to kind of expand this range right here. Until this range is broken, like, you have to just treat it as is, right? But here's the thing. We came up, tapped the high. We never tapped the low. We never took any liquidity. And now we're putting in a lower high on the daily. So look, I'm watching this low at 24.2, and I'm watching the low around 23.9. If we hold this, look, down here, I'm not saying it's going to break, but look. If we do something like this and close back in, I'd be looking for a long. But I would just be playing the long basically as a range play. If we did something like this where we come down and actually lose the range, but use, and come back up and backtest, fail to regain acceptance back in, truthfully, I'm looking down here, man. I'm looking back down, ultimately back down to 22,300. But there'll be some pit stops along the way. Like, you see this level right here? Right there? That's probably going to end up like around 23. You see all this liquidity is kind of stacked up right there. That's going to end up probably giving us a little chop on the way down. So maybe it'll play out a little bit more like this if we did break down, where we break down, back test, come down here, chop around a little bit, and then ultimately make our way down to this low. That's if we lose the level, but until we do, we'll see. Yeah, closed early on Monday. Yeah. But for now, that's your support is around 24,000. You got a little bit of resistance sitting on the daily at 25,400. So anything, if you can't get back above 25,400, man, down is more likely. Like, this has to break, otherwise you have no shot at getting back up here. So I mean, obvious, but yeah, that's kind of NQ. And look, NASDAQ's the same thing, man, but NASDAQ looks a little more bearish right now. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, it came all the way back up, retested it, and I actually got short up here originally. But today I got short again, and I'll show you why I got short on the SPY. We came up and we swept, man. When I saw this right here, I started building shorts. Once we couldn't get back above this little level here, I started building shorts, and I'm short right now, so I'm in profit. I think I got a short around 75, 70-ish. So, but like, I think, look, do I think we're going in a straight line down? No, but I do ultimately think that, like, this is, I don't know, man. There's some signs in the market right now that just saying, like, hey, we may be in for a little bit of a correction. A little bit's being nice. Like, I'm just like, look, I'm going to show you my indicators, and I'm going to just kind of just paint a picture. This is the SPY, by the way, and I'm using SPY because it's kind of like an overall of like the stock market and strength. And it's been the one thing holding up. SPY has been holding up compared it to a lot of things which have already been coming down. But look, we got divergences, multiple drives of divergences here on the daily, on both Market Cipher and on the stochastic RSI. Multiple drives, guys. It's just headed down, but price keeps chopping up. So what they're doing, and you can see money flow is already leaving. It's crossing into the red, so money's leaving the asset. This is starting to look more like a distribution to me than anything. I don't know if it's going to... Look, there's always a chance it comes up, wicks the highs, and then boom, drops, or it just continues to roll over, you know what I mean? Just continues to move down. But ultimately, I think down in the next few weeks to months, I think down is going to be more likely. And that's just what the charts are telling me right now based on everything. I mean, you got weekly bearish divergence right here. I mean, like, there's almost every higher time frame is pointing down or telling you that like a down move is coming. It's just a matter of when, and that's the tricky thing, you know. See a divergence as price is pushing up. So, yeah, I mean, look, for SPY, I'm short. I'm watching this level here. If we lose this, not this level, but this level down here. Sorry, guys. I'm getting yelled at by TikTok Studios. It's saying I disconnected. That's weird. Am I still in here, guys? Can you guys still hear me? Heisenberg, so the answer to your question, it's a weekend. I like to do some just charting, higher time frame stuff. I'm not looking for scalp plays on the weekend, bro. I'm not looking for trades, but I am looking to have a plan going into next week. If you're like me, I'm kind of busy Monday through Fridays a lot. I like to plan my like trades out in advance, and when they hit my levels, have my levels set, have my plan it like, you know, in advance, and then if it hits, all I gotta do is push buttons. I already have it all set up. So that's just kind of what I think, because I like to play higher time frames a lot, and I like to take swing trades, or at least if the market, you know, allows you to. How will the market be around 222? I don't know, man. That's a good question. Sorry, guys, gotta check that out. But yeah, look, supports here. If we start losing this 67, this is lower here around 67.3, man, I think this thing's coming down hard, and I think it's probably going to make its way down to 6,500, which is a pretty steep drop, man, from where we're at right now. That's a couple $100 on the SPY, which is not a small drop. I mean, that gap right there is like a 3% gap, 4% gap. So that's going to hurt. That's going to hurt all markets. It's going to hurt all stocks, everything risk. So I'm preparing for it. Let's go look at XRP. Do I trade a Pacific? Yeah, I do. I have a strategy built for myself. If you want to learn more about my strategy, I mean, I can honestly just tell you straight up. I play trend reversals, dude. I look for trend lines. I look for reversals in the chart with identifiable patterns. Head and shoulders, double bottoms, divergences, that kind of stuff. Occasionally, I will play continuation breakouts, but I'm mainly a breakout retest trader. Like, I wait for the retest. I don't just play blind breakouts. And I will dabble with a sweep here and there, but that's not my bread and butter. So let's look at XRP. Fucking XRP, dude. That's a good sign that, hey, maybe the trend's reversing momentarily, short term, right? You got a bull flag you're breaking out of. And I'm going to show you this. This isn't all the market on crypto, by the way. So where could that take us? Well, let's just take the flagpole, run it up. could take us back up to this 180 area. That's what I'm saying. It's possible we get back up into this area. I don't know if it's not guaranteed, but like, hey, there's some signs pointing towards it. You got divergence on the 4 hour, right? That kind of gave us early signs. Hey, we might be breaking out. There were some signs, guys. There were some signs. Nothing too crazy, honestly, but like, look, we're getting 4 hour market structure shift right now on XRP, which is the most important thing. So for me, if I'm going to like start playing a trend to the upside, even just like day to day or like short-term swing trades, I need a 4 hour shift. So we got our low, we have our high, and we have our higher low. And then we've broken that. So now what we're looking for is obviously confirmations. We don't want this to roll over and just start, boom, taking out this low. But as long as we can kind of like get some closures up here and put in a higher low at some point, I think this continues up for a little bit. And so maybe we hit some of those targets, maybe some higher resistance. You got 140, 150 is a decent area. Like you got 155 up here. So this could serve as resistance. And you have this local resistance here, which you can see we hit our head on a few times. So those are just some local levels to watch. What you don't want to do, right, to remain bullish, you can't lose this low. You can't drop down and lose 135. If you start losing this low, then the structure's broken, and then you have to come up with a new plan. But for now, it looks okay on XRP. Is this day trading or normal? This is like 4 hour. This is not really day trading. This is more of like short-term trend. Like, you know, the next couple days to a week max, you know. I will check out NU in a little bit. Yeah, I can check out Aster Kush. I got you, brother. So after I do Aster, I'm gonna just kind of give you guys an overall of the altcoins, which is kind of something I want to talk about. So look, Aster got beat down pretty bad, man. Oh, fucking Jesus Christ. So it got beat down pretty bad on the weekly. Not much data because it is a newer token. CZ kind of damned this thing to hell, didn't he? But look here, I'll give you the one positive here, right? So you got bullish divergence on the daily form. You got 3 drives of it. So you got, look, from down here, momentum's been going up generally, and what has price been doing? Going down. And we finally got our first break of structure on the daily. We broke this high right here. So this is our first level that we like really had to pay attention to. You could maybe argue it happened down here, but let's say this is the cleaner level, right? This is the more definitive level for me. But you are also coming into resistance. You're coming into this level around 79.8. I mean, you wicked almost up into that area here. So it's going to be resistance temporarily. So keep this in mind up here. This area is probably going to serve as some resistance. And let's see, have you found support? You're finding a little support on that SR, like on this previous high. So there's a little bit of an SR flip. I mean, 4 hour market structure is good. I mean, look, you got the market structure shift right here. You had your back test. Would have been a great place to go long, and you're still going up. You got a little bit of a trend on the 4 hour too, right? You can just track that for now. So yeah, I would just keep an eye on this trend. Keep an eye on this level at 70 cents. If you start deviating back below 70 cents, man, I'm not saying it's over, but I'm just saying, like, this is not going to be a good look. Like, you don't want to start doing that because that opens the gates for it to come all the way back down. So you kind of want to generally be above this level. And I would say the lowest you really want to, because you'll start breaking 4 hour structure if you lose this low anyway. So you generally want to be above that. But I wouldn't go long here. If you're long from lower down, cool. Maybe keep this trend in mind. If you start slipping that trend, maybe that's time to start, looking at your position. Best thing I'm going to say. But overall, it looks all right. But again, we're pushing into resistance. I say maybe 79.80 is going to be the area to watch on the daily. And then you got like I wouldn't even call this a trend, man. I'm just drawing lines, honestly, at this point. I would just say keep it simple. Focus on this level here. If you can break this $80 level, man, you got a shot at getting back up to almost $1. Like, that's pretty much what it comes down to. You open up, maybe up to this level here. And there's a little bit of a gap here too. So you see, I'm going to pull up my VRVP real fast. You see how it gaps from here? So if we can break this resistance here where this volume's thick, you gap up into that like that. It starts around 92, resistance starts to pick back up. So anywhere from 92 up to 98 could be an area to like watch for resistance if you can break back above kind of where we're at now, but you still have resistance, like I said, pushing up into this area here. You could see volume still there. It doesn't really fade until you break this level around 79.80. But it could move quick after that. That's the thing. It could do like a 15% jump. Sorry guys, I'm gonna make sure my music's going. I'm jamming out in the background on my headset. You got the spot position at 49, my dude. That's what's up, brother. I'm happy for you. You stuck. Kush is in our Discord. He's one of my boys. Dude, man, we traded Aster when it was fucking all over the place, man. We were trading Aster, and what was the other one we were trading, dude? COAI, I think it was. Something like that. We were trading those two things together a lot. That was the DGen days, man. When I say DGen days, it was like 6 months ago. What else you guys want to look at? Hold on, let me see. We looked at NQ, we looked at XRP. I got to look at Hood, and then I'm going to go do my little... I'm going to show you guys some stuff I'm seeing in the market. Man, you guys, whoever asked for Hood, like, I give it to you. You got conviction, man. I hope you're short. It's the best thing I can say. Like, look, on Hood, this is the big level, dude. You lost 96. The next big level to the downside is we're almost there, but it's around 67, 68. We're a few percent away from it. Could you get a bounce here? Yeah, maybe. There's a potential, right? You got a CME gap to the upside. You can see it right here. Could be a target. Sits at about 80 to about 85, right? So that could be a temporary target to the upside, but then you're going to have resistance around 88. So as soon as you get through this gap and you fill that, you got resistance right there. If you break that, man, I mean, look, it's back up to 96. Like, these are your two levels to the upside before you get to 96. If you get back to 96 and you can reclaim 96, then hey, man, this thing could run back up. You know, it gets acceptance back up here, has potential to run up higher. But as long as it's below 96, I think ultimately the target is down here around 65 at minimum, and then maybe if it loses 65, it could come down to 35. This is higher time frame stuff. This is not going to happen overnight. But I'm just giving you the levels. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm seeing on Hood, man. Short term, look, it's starting to like kind of do like a little Adam and Eve pattern. If you guys don't know what that is, it's just pretty much this. Adam. And then like an Eve is almost like a round. That's all it is. I mean, if we get something like that forms, you're getting a little bit of a trend coming down, right? Maybe like a little bull flag. Maybe it pops up, takes you up here. So, looks okay. Let me go see if there's any divergence real quick, and then I can kind of move on to the next thing. I mean, yeah, nah, there's no divergence in the 4 hour. Maybe it's not ready yet. I mean, I usually want to see divergence at a low. I mean, 1 hour's got a little bit, but nothing crazy. Could just be a temporary pop, but we'll see. How do you trade XRP even if it's super low? Dude, that's a tough question, man. I don't trade XRP. So how do I trade it? By not trading it. That's a dick question, dick answer. I'll check out by not trading it. Sorry, man. Dude, I'll be honest with you, brother. XRP is not my thing, but if you were gonna trade XRP, straight up, right? I'm just gonna give you a little thing about altcoins. You don't want to be on the lower time frames. I'm going to straight up tell you that. At minimum, 4 hours or higher. That's the only way you're going to even like survive in altcoins. If you're trading 10, 15 minute levels or 1 hour levels, you're going to get fucking smashed. You trade higher time frames, typically daily or above, but you can still look for structure and patterns to break and trends on a 4 hour, but usually you want to do it on a higher time frame. That's the way you trade XRP successfully, because the higher time frames you can look, you do less smaller positions. I would recommend no leverage if you're new to trading, but low leverage to no leverage, and then you play the higher time frames and you capitalize on these bigger moves. You know, these nice 20-30% moves you can get in crypto in both directions. That's all you need. If you start complicating it and adding leverage and going to lower time frames and looking more frequent trades, you're going to get chopped up, bro. Because if you go down to a 15-minute, dude, this shit's not like it's not a friendly place to trade. Like, sure, you do get some nice ranges and stuff you can find, but like, don't get lost on that. You don't want to get lost on the lower time frames because eventually they will chop you up. Right now, like, if you go back down here too, like, look at this range. This is miserable. This is a daily range. Like, this is chop city if you were trying to trade that. I mean, unless you were trading extremes and highs and lows, that was chop city. So I say higher time frames is what I would recommend. You only trade Sol USD. It's not bad, man. Look, if you're going to be a trader, you need to have a bread and butter. You need to have an asset that you become so familiar with. It's like learning a new exercise. You know, the first couple times you do it, you're not going to be familiar with it. But after years of practicing the same exercise, you're going to like get familiar with it, right? You're going to understand how it moves, everything, you know, get what I'm saying? With the same things with a stock. You trade a stock, you start to learn how a stock moves. Like we know Bitcoin loves to sweep highs and lows. Whereas some other assets don't do that. They don't sweeps. They just, you know, sometimes they just play trends. You got some assets that work really well on VWAPs. A lot of them do, but you know, you get what I'm saying. Like certain things have persona to them, the way they move. So it pays to get familiar with one. Anyway, I'm done with my rant. So look, I want to go talk about some altcoin shit. I don't talk about altcoin stuff a lot on here, but I'm going to talk about it today because look, there's some significant things that happened. So look, others is the total market cap excluding the top 10 cryptos. So basically this is a good representation for altcoins. Anything that's not Ethereum, Solana. You know what I mean? So look, on the daily, we had an impulsive wave up. Well, impulsive like candle. I think if you go to the 4 hour, you can see it was like a little bit of an impulse, right? A little bit of a, I wouldn't say it's a fully bullish engulfing, but it's a decent looking reversal candle, right? You got a nice body closes lower, I mean higher than the previous body, and then it takes back a decent portion of it. And then it starts to flag out, right? And then look, you go down to your 4 hour and you can see that others, I don't know why that adjusts sometimes, but others broke out of a bull flag. So where's the bull flag take us? Well, actually it drew it out already. There's your measure move. That's your breakout. And it would take us back up to this resistance around 195, 200 billion. That's about from the breakout to the top, be like a 13% move on others. So that could be 20, 25% on some altcoins. Not all, but some. So what does that tell me about the market, right? Well, that paired with this, I go to others BTC, and I know this is getting a little complicated, guys, but I just want to paint a picture, right? Others BTC, this is the relative strength of altcoins versus BTC. Well, look, it just broke a daily high. It just shifted structure and had a back test. So it's now in an uptrend. So it just tells me that alts are probably going to pump a little harder than Bitcoin in the time being. And we also have USDT dominance, which looks like it might be putting in a lower high. All right? Significant high, bearish engulfing candle. This is the strength of Tether, stable coins. When this is going down, that typically means that money's moving back into altcoins or crypto, sometimes mostly Bitcoin, but crypto in general. And when this is moving up, that means money's moving out of Bitcoin and crypto and moving into stables. Just like money moves out of like stocks and goes into cash or gold, that's the equivalent of this. So this is showing me that signs that this may want to pull back a little bit, right? Maybe, just maybe, this is going to come down to here and back test the breakout. I mean, it broke out of this, look, for things to come back down and retest those levels to, you know, before they move up higher. So I don't know, man. I think in the next few days, maybe week, 2 weeks, we might have a little bit of a pump, a little bit of a rally. They don't know about tether dominance. Yeah, some people don't, man. You gotta be a degen to know this shit, or you gotta be really like into the space. When tether drops, Bitcoin does send. You're right. Farcoin too. Yeah. Any hope for Say? I'll check Say. What's up, Cub? New Zealand. Hell yeah, brother. So look, the best way I can put this, like you said, when USDT dominance moves one direction, Bitcoin typically does the inverse of it. Take a good look at this chart. I'm going to clear everything off this. Take a good look at this chart, right? Now memorize that for a second in your head. Now I'm gonna go to Bitcoin. They're the inverse of each other. They're literally the opposite. It's like the biggest cheat code you can have if you trade. Yeah, if you want to join the Discord, Boy Sosa, you can go to tacticaledgetraders.com. The link's in the description, and it's also should be on our bio or description page of TikTok. And then you can actually join that for free, and then it'll give you access to the Discord. You can join the Discord for free. Kind of we funnel through the website so we can get all your information, then just like your email address and shit, and then you have access to all of our educational content. A lot of the stuff is like central hubbed from our website, including our Discord. We have our trading journal. We have other like resources. Ben puts a bunch of like informational cheat sheet and all that kind of stuff in there. So it's all sourced like centrally from the website. So check us out. But yeah, man. Let me go look at Say real quick, man. Someone asked Kush asked for Say. Any hope for Say? Look, man, it looks a little weaker. I'm gonna be honest with you, right? If we were looking at in comparison to others, it looks weaker than others. Like others is higher up right now. It's had a more significant bounce. It was actually flagging out. Whereas this, it's like it's struggling, man. It looks like but look, I'll give you this. It swept that wick low, put a wick low, right? And it's putting a higher low in now on the daily. You go down to your 4 hour. I mean, look, it has the same thing it has the same pattern that all the alts have. It's got a flag and it's breaking out. So where could we see Say go? Well, I'm gonna be honest with you. Say, like I said, looks a little weaker in comparison to the other alts. If you're just looking relative strength, it looks a little weaker. But I mean, doesn't mean it's not going to get a nice move. It's a lower market cap, so it probably runs up hard. But look, this flag probably takes us into this resistance here between like 8.3 and I'd say maybe up to possibly like 8.8 where this wick's at, maybe up to here around 9. So let's call it 8.3 to 9 cents. Probably that area if we continue up. But you are going to have some resistance at 8 flat, right? This high right here is going to be resistance, so keep an eye on that, man. When you get up there, if you start to see this thing fade, you might get a little pullback there, or you might get a rollover, It's not always guaranteed you're going to just get the whole measured move. If you want to track this thing, dude, just throw down to a 1 hour, right? You got a nice little trend you can run up, little money line from the low. Just run that up. And just track that money line, dude. If you start to lose that money line, you're probably going to come back down. If you're in a long, it might be a good time to take some off the table. Maybe an early indicator that things might be, pulling back. That's all. But support is back. I mean, dude, support is at 7 down to like 6.8. That's support for you, dude, on the higher time frames. So those are your levels on Say. I mean, I hate fading it because I used to love this token, man. I used to love trading this thing, but it does got bullish divergence on the daily, though. I mean, it's got the same thing everything else has, so it's got some positives going for it. You have high hopes for Cardano. ... Yeah, bro, me too. Sweet. Well, what question do you got? Things you love? TCG. Rotation on the... Sui looks a lot like... All right, so remember how we were just looking at Say? Now, remember I said Say looks relatively weaker than some of the other cryptos, right? Why did I say that? Because, look, that was the wick it put in back in October. Say is all the way down here on the wick, whereas Sui is way up higher. It's got, it's just holding up a little bit better is all. And not much better, but just a little better. So, Sui, look, you never came and reclaimed that wick at 56. You put in the same pattern everything else is putting in. You have the bullish engulfing on the daily. You have the bull flag, and you're starting to break out. Levels to the upside. Big level, the biggest level is this right here. It's probably going to be the biggest level to crack. It's probably going to be this 1.3. And you can see if I go back in time on my weekly, you can see that this 1.3 was resistance before and support resistance on a higher time frame basis, right? So that's going to be a major level to get back above. So if we do push up, I'd say anything up to 1.3 is, game. And then when you get up to 1.3, I'd probably get defensive. But you are going to have some local support on the daily, probably up here, or resistance, I'm sorry, around 116. So if you push up on 116, there could be some resistance there. You can see how like we consolidated there for a bit. So that could be a daily resistance. And you are getting close to one. $1 is a psychological number. You have to keep that in mind too. So, you know, look for a little bit of a turbulence at $1. But I think this bull flag takes you up a little bit higher than that. So let's just see where it would take you. I mean, it would take you almost up to this 116. So maybe that's a target for it. But those are your levels. I mean, to the downside, look, ideally, you don't want to lose this low here. I mean, if you got a 4-hour market structure shift with this low, this pivot high, and this higher low, and then you break. So the key is to not lose this 90 cents. 89 to 90 cents is your level you don't want to drop below. Otherwise, it starts to get ugly again. So other than that, man, Sweet looks okay, dude. I think you got a good shot of getting up to this dollar. I think you're probably going to contest this dollar. You're starting to flag out again, right? Just like Bitcoin's flagging out at the moment. You're getting a little bit of a flag there. So just let price action develop. It's a weekend. It's going to be slow moving price action to kind of induce you in. Don't fall for it. Wait for key levels to get hit. You know, wait for breakout retests. Wait for like confirmation. Maybe wait for the market to open too. But I mean, right now you're just sitting, you're just chilling. It's just chilling right above this resistance, right? This was once resistance, is now support. So you start losing 96, then, you know, you might drop back down to 93, 94. That's definitely possible, back down in this zone here. You see what I mean? There's nothing really between us and there if we do lose that. Because, like, see all these green candles, how they just move up. There's no stopping, no consolidation. That's your clue. If you lose this level off, it could come down quick. Can I go over ES? Yeah, I can go over ES. What's your question, things you love? I'm still waiting. Answer. I'm ready to give it. How do I get started in the stock market? I'm 23 and I have 17 grand. All right, brother. You're 23. I want you to do the math for me. You know what? I'm doing this shit. Hold on. Give me a second. We're going to do this together. I'm going to pull up a compounding calculator real quick. I want to show you the power of compounding. All right, right? So you're 17. When are you going to retire? You're going to retire in what, fucking Jesus, 48 years? Damn, something like that. Like when you're like 60. So let's just say 40 years. All right, annual 40 years. Let's say you threw it just in the S&P. 17,000. I'm not saying you throw the whole thing in there, but look, what is the S&P average every year? What's it, between 8 and 10% annual growth? Let's just give it 8%. Now, assuming you don't put any more money into the market, what would your rate be? What would you be in 40 years? That's what your investment would be in 40 years if you added no money at all. $17,000 today and just let it just sit. Don't do anything with it. That's a 2,300% return. So at this age, man, I mean, if you're trying to get into stocks, go for the big safe bets, play the long game because you have that ability. You can take some higher risk bets, but like if you're getting early on and you're trying to get your footing, I would recommend S&P. Just your indexes, man. There's no reason to go crazy and try to like, you know, shoot for the moon. But let's say, look, I'm just going to play this game real quick, right? So let's say you were going to do a monthly deposit. You were going to throw $100 in every month. Now what would that do? See what I mean? Like, and now $100 is nothing to most people who are putting money away for their retirement. But like, you can, the power of compounding, my point is crazy. So like, play the long game, dude. You're young. You don't need to take high risks this early on. Maybe allocate like a small percentage of that money, like 5-10% to put into more riskier stocks and select things. And then I would say the majority, the bulk of it, put it in safer assets and play the long game. Let the compounding interest do that. That's the thing, man, because like, look, if you were going to retire in a few years, yes, you'd have to be careful. You'd be more heavy in bonds for your retirement because you don't want to risk a recession because if you don't want to like lose any of your value. But yeah, Well, a Roth IRA, the difference between a Roth IRA and a traditional IRA is the Roth IRA, it's not tax deductible. So you're basically paying it, you're contributing with money that's already you pay taxes on. That's all it is. It's the same thing as a traditional IRA, except you traditional IRAs are tax deductible in the beginning, so you don't pay any taxes. You can put money directly from your paycheck into a traditional, which you can do it with a Roth, but it's going to tax you first. You'd have to put it with your own money, your own allocation. But yeah, like a Roth is basically, it's just a plan, dude. All IRAs are, they're like annuities, man. They're just basically like retirement plans for the future that you can buy on the side. You don't have to do that. I mean, if you want to be like hands off, they're not bad. But you can also be hands on, get a retirement plan, avoid the taxes. If you're gonna do it, go with the traditional, so you can get away with the tax advantages now. Try to go with the traditional, but they have limitations on your allocations. But because you're so young and you have so many years ahead of you, you have longer time to build into them. A traditional is going to go a lot longer, a longer way for you. Trust me. But yeah, it's something to look into, bro. It's something to definitely look into. What's up, Ricardo? Injective long-term view. I can do INJ. It's not going to be a good long-term view, brother. But it doesn't look too bad right now. All right, so long term. Let's go to the weekly. Shit. Where's Ben when I need him for this? He loves to give the long term. All right. Truth, man. Long term is probably going to go to 0. But if it doesn't go to 0, I think eventually it's going to make its way back down to this $1. This was the bear market support. That's probably where it's headed to. I don't see any reason for it to go up yet. It hasn't shifted on the higher time frames, and this is the only real big level. We've already swept everything else. This is the only level below. So I think getting back down to $1, $1.10 is probably going to, inevitable. Now what happens there? I don't know. Does it keep going or does it hold and, catch a bounce? Maybe. I don't know. But like right now, man, this thing is pretty beat up. That's all I'm going to say. This looks just like, look, if it's going to go anywhere, it's going to have to start by breaking this trend, right? You got a trend from the high all the way down that runs straight through, right? It's got to start there if it's going to have any shot of getting bullish. So I would say mark this trend out, watch this low around $1, $1.10. I would say on a weekly time frame, the only real level you need to be focused on is that low I talked about. And I'd say probably up here, man, $15. I don't think this thing even starts to get bullish again until it gets back above 15. Let's just look at this thing right here, right? You see how, like, it consolidated, right? $15 was a significant high. And when we flipped 15 here and pull back, it was takeoff, right? And then 15 became support. And then once we slept 15, it was just down only, man. So I think, like, this thing doesn't, like, on the higher time frames, doesn't get bullish until it gets back above 15. But I would say in the interim, maybe like watch this trend and watch this low. Those would be the levels, really, man. It's rough, dude, in altcoin world. What's a safe asset? Not the dollar. Like a safer asset would be like a bond, something that doesn't have as much volatility as a traditional stock or something with risk. Will this pump, bro? I don't know, man. We might get some pump. I think we might going to get a pump in the next couple days or weeks. It might not be a long-lived one, but like you usually do get bear market rallies, and that's kind of the whole title, the whole theme of tonight. If you're watching on YouTube, what's up, Jax? My night's going good, man. You said zoom out. How far you want me to zoom out, bro? How far? I'm on the weekly. Yeah, look, bonds, dude. Bonds are safer than your risk assets. Like, is anything really safe though? Like at the end of the day, you're putting your money into a government with a bond. But I guess it's safer for a retirement plan. Like you can go more bond heavy than go stock heavy. And then like it kind of curves the risk on it. There's a lot of stuff online about this stuff, guys. If you like really want to like talk nitty gritty on it, like join the Discord, Tactical Edge Traders. It's our website. Check us out. Yeah, we can talk. We have a lot of guys in the Discord that are really like into like their long term portfolios and stuff like that. That are a lot more versed than me. I'm like a hardcore trader. When it comes to trading, I know a lot. When it comes to like years and decades of investing, there's guys in our Discord that can probably talk circles around me. So I would say if you want to meet some people like that, check out our Discord. It's free to join, guys. Do you think BTC hits 50K? I think so. I mean, we're almost there, bro. Here, I'll paint a picture for you, right? Let's just do some fucking moon math. Right? I did this the other day. This is a nice little lesson for everybody. So look, the first drop from the high last cycle, 52%. Then we had a little bit of a bear flag, right? We topped right here, and then we had one more big drop. Probably down to, I think it was right around here. Yeah, it was right around here. No, hold on, I'm sorry. Let me go to this. It's here, I'm sorry. This was the drop. So like right around here, you get like another 44% drop. And you go to the daily, you can actually see this actually makes sense. It's hard to see on the weekly. Where are we at? Here it is. So you had a big drop, and then we had another consolidation, which was this bear flag here. And then if you actually go from this bear flag down to the low, it's another 50%. So you see like there's 3 big drops, and they're all about the same percentages in the bear market, right? Well, let's look at price action now. How many drops have we had? We've had 2. 36% to the low, right? And now we've started the second drop up here. 38%. Very close in percentage-wise, right? So let's say we are to, and this is just, again, this is theory. This is not something to trade off of, guys. But let's say we were to just chop around, right? Maybe make our way back up to 70K. Like just kind of like we did back in 2021. Or 2022, actually. If we dropped another 36 to 38% from here, where would that take us? 48, 50K. So I think it is possible. So just kind of just throwing some stuff at you guys to make you think. Thoughts on Zcash? Numerologist on Twitter said it's going to 10K. Ben thinks it's going to 8K because Michael Saylor's put out his level to basically become like his level. Like if it goes below 8K, Michael Saylor's fucked. His loans, I think, he defaults on all of them. What'd you say about SWE? I just said SWE looks like the rest of the altcoin markets. It's not really doing much. It could get back up to a 116 is the level of resistance, and I think 130 is the big level above that. So 116 and 130 are the 2 levels to watch above. And I'd say $1 to the downside. Oh, is it $1 now? Where is SWE at? Yeah, no, not $1. Here, there's the chart for you. So there's SWE, there's the chart. There's the levels. So 116, $1 is resistance, and then 130, 132 above that. Your support you don't want to lose. You don't want to drop below like 89.90. You start losing that low, I think you're probably going to come down lower. You're probably going to start taking out lows from earlier this week or last week. So, DCA Soul. Hey, you missed Aster, dude. I did that a little bit ago. If you want to check out our YouTube, Tactical Edge Trading Academy, it's recorded on there. So everything that I'm doing live now is a recording. You can actually go back and watch. If you missed levels, this is for anybody. If you're missing levels and you want to remember what they are, one, you could join the Discord and ask me, and I'll tell you. I usually post my charts anyway. Two, you can always check out the YouTube. I'm long from 89 on SWE. Oh, SWE, yeah. Okay. Yeah, look, I mean, dude, throw your stop at break even. That's what I would do. If it goes below 89, you want to be out of the trade anyway. So I would say throw your stop at break even and just chill, man. Let price do its thing. Are you rich? No, I'm not rich, man. But I do make money in the markets. I'm profitable. Make more than I lose. I know some rich people that are rich off trading. I can tell you that much. I'm not going to say names, but I know a few people. that are rich off this. So it just takes time, guys. I'm going to tell you something about trading it's a big secret, but it's really not a secret. It's obvious. Like, wealth's not built overnight. You're not going to get rich fast. Like, you're not going to join trading today and learn and in 2 years be a millionaire with like $100 starting with $100. It doesn't work like that. It takes time, man. To build real wealth, like, it takes years. Like, years of consistent hard work and just discipline. Like, that's what it is, man. Just, it's like a grind. It's like a video. Like, think of like your favorite. All right, I want you to think of this. Think of an athlete. I want you to think of any athlete that's made it to like the NFL, NBA, fighters that's made it to the top, professional. They don't start professional. They take time. They build. They go through the learning curves. They figure themselves out. They figure out what their strengths, what their weaknesses are, and over time they build themselves. Right? That's the same thing in trading. But think about that as in money. Like, you have to. Your portfolio has a career. Like, and you gotta go through it. You gotta go through the journey to build it. And it takes time. I mean, what did they say? Warren Buffett didn't make most of his wealth until he was after like 40 something years old. I think he had a couple $1 million when he was in his 40s, and he became a billionaire by the time he was like 60 or 70. It's just the compounding effect. That's what it is. That's what really does it for most people. Bob, you're trying to get into trading, and I have Amazon and Berkshire half away. Issue is social media. 20 years ago, Lambos. Yeah, I've graduated you. Are you at university? Opinion on DraftKings. Fuck sale. I wish he would go to prison. Damn, dude. What's the ticker on DraftKings? Oof. All right. Well, point out a few things on DraftKings. I have some levels drawn out here. So I got to re-up my music. Need to vibe out. So look, DraftKings, guys. I got to go to the weekly for this one. So look, I broke it down into two things. We had this range and this range. I said if we lost this range, we were coming down to retest this range. Right now, we're catching a little bit of a bounce, right? Not much, but we're catching a bounce. If price can hold above this level around $20, could come back up and retest this $29-30, right? If it loses this level and starts to gain acceptance back into this range, expect it to make its way back down to the bottom of the range around $11, $12. Now look, vice versa. If it makes its way back up into this range here, right, and gains acceptance, you could start to look for it to make its way back up and attack levels in here, starting with this level around $36, $37. And if you break that, I mean, shit, you're coming back up to the highs around 48 here in this range. So just play it level to level. Right now, 21 is major support. You don't want to lose that. You start closing below 2021, man, you're looking back into the teens. Above that, you're looking back up to 30, close to $30 for resistance. And then if you can break above 30, you're looking 36. You break 36, you're looking 48. So try to break it down as simple as possible. But right now, look, man, there's no real structure. It just bounced. It just got there. So you got to give this one time. Give it a few days. Let a few daily candles close down here. When things have big moves like these, they don't just bounce. I think that the problem with the markets are, and traders, especially inexperienced traders, they think that every time price drops, it's just going to do this. It doesn't work like that, man. Like a lot of times, this is more probable. I'll tell you what's more probable. It'll do this. It'll chop around for a while and eventually make its way out. Maybe range out a little bit, form a bottom, some type of maybe inverse head and shoulders, double bottom. You'll see divergences. You'll get it like a high, a low, and then you'll break out eventually. So let that happen. So that's just my advice if you're trying to go long on it. Do you think Trump... What kind of question is that, dude? Sorry. TikTok is testing me to make sure I'm alive still. What kind of question is that? Do you think Trump will attack Iran? I hope he doesn't, bro. I hope he doesn't. For the fucking world's sake. We don't need any more wars, man. There are reports... There might be. Salt? What is salt? NASDAQ? Or am I looking at Which salt am I looking at? Do you see the ones I'm looking at? Oh, why'd you say NU? Oh, NU. You did ask for NU. Let me go look at that. My bad, dude. Opinion. Why not Bitcoin alone? Yeah, I mean, oof. All right. Let's look at it on the weekly real quick, see what's going on. All right, guys, look. So whoever asked for new, your support right now, your ground, the way you don't want to lose is $16. You start to lose $16, it starts to get a little shaky. You can see it was the previous high, but also look what's there. You got a trend coming up from the bottom. All right. It's all intersecting with the $16 level. You also have a more local trend right here, but you're starting to slip that, or you slipped it a little bit and you're starting to bounce. So I'd say $16 is the level to hold here. I think if you start to break back below 16, there's a very good chance you could make your way back down to 14, which is this level right here. You can see I was a previous high before. Could make your way back down there if you start to lose this. So this starts to happen. You're looking down to 14. If you can hold above this, look, man, as long as you're above this, the trend is up, right? You can maybe bounce here. You know, this, you expect this until it breaks. So for now, the trend is up, but you want to watch for the bounce. Make sure it's actually like, you know, you start seeing it break through, it doesn't reclaim, it's probably time to get out. I'd say locally, dude, like on a 4 hour, take a trend here from the 4 hour, run this down, right? Waiting to see what happens here. Like, it's going to get tight, right? Price is going to get tight in this area, and eventually it's going to pick up or it's going to pick down. That's when you can start making your decision. Wait for price to tell you. So that's what I would say on that one. But, I mean, look, you break this trend, dude, you could come back up to all-time highs at 19. You start losing this, 14's your first level, and it could go lower than that, you know? We don't know how far this can go down, but look, as long as you're above this, you're good. So that's new. 2x leverage ETF. Okay, so it was the right one I was looking at. I just want to make sure I was looking at the right one. Holy shit, what the fuck? That shit's... What the hell happened to it, dude? It looks like MicroStrategies. Oh, man. Yeah, this thing's beat, dude. I wouldn't touch this. I don't even think I can chart this, to be honest with you. Maybe on a 1 hour. Fuck yeah, look. It's bouncing. A little Adam and Eve. Got a little pattern here, a little breakout. I don't know, man. This thing is pretty beat up, dude. I'd say, look, if it starts to run up, right, I would say watch this gap here around 440 up to about $5. That's probably the big level. It's probably above us. It lines up with some higher, you know, some levels here. It's hard to chart on anything smaller than like a 1 hour. It is a 4 hour high right there as well. If you go up any higher than that, I mean, you got this one up here around $7-8. So those are your two real levels to the upside. But that's the two big gaps. But then, I mean, yeah, this don't look great, bro. And then you're going to run into resistance here around $6. Like, there's just a lot. This thing's been in free fall for quite a bit of time. So it's got a lot of recovery. Don't seem like people are really buying into this. That would be a huge gain. No, it would be a huge gain from here. I mean, yeah, it's not a small move. I mean, back up to here, it's like 100%. So if it does make its way up there, but I mean, it's volatile as shit, dude. Wait, hold on. I got to read this real quick. It doesn't work unless but we should have taken it around, become profitable, developed an edge, and all of a sudden the world going crazy. Just when I become profitable, developed an edge, the world's going crazy. Yeah, I know, right? I love shorting those patterns when they first break. Yeah, I'm 100% on short trades this year on pattern breaks. Looks like Mike Tyson's career after prison. Jesus Christ. I'm like reading you guys' comments. You guys are ridiculous. Waiting to enter MSFT, long or short, depending on breakout move. Flat today. Let me go look at MSFT. Dude, look at the mayhem on my chart. Like, it looks like a 5-year-old took a crown and just started drawing on my freaking charts. This is true genius here, guys. No, this is not. This is ridiculousness. So look, I talked about this level here. There's a reason for all the drawings. So get rid of this. I mean, look, simply put, you're holding on this trend, all right? You got a weekly trend back from October 2022. You tapped it once, and you're trying to gain support here. Is it guaranteed? No. We don't know yet. It really hasn't put any like convincing bounce, so it's still testing this level. But you did have a double top here back in July, and then it topped again back in November, right? So I think the big thing is, do we hold this level? And if we don't hold this trend, we're probably coming back down to 346 on Microsoft. So yeah, you're right. I think you called it. Like, it's a big week. So let's see what happens. I would like to see this hold. But, you know, you start slipping this, man. Like I said, down to 346. To the upside, though, dude, this is your big level. Right up here around 467 up to about 500. That's the big level to attack. You go to the higher time frames, like you could see it's a weekly high. Like that's going to be a tough level to break. Because like this is kind of where if you just drag this box over, you can see we double topped, caught support, came back up. We're like, oh shit, we lost this and failed to reclaim this level. And that's where we dumped from. So this whole range is going to be tough. Be a tough cookie. But, yeah. Good levels to buy more Tesla. My average is 250. What platform are you charting? I am charting on TradingView. I think that's what you mean by platform. Oh, by the way, guys, if you're tuning in, if you're not following us, give us a follow on TikTok. We stream live about 5-6 days a week. It's myself and Ben. I go live in the evenings. Ben's been doing evenings as well. We post tons of educational content on there. We post funny stuff. Just stuff about trading, markets, anything that kind of around the, like, you know, and that theme. We're not just crypto related. We're everything. And if you're on YouTube, give us a like, hit subscribe. Check out our Discord if you guys want. TacticalEdgeTraders.com is our website. It's our free website, free educational content, free portal into our Discord, which is also free. And you can be surrounded by 1,600 other like-minded individuals just like yourself who, you know, want to talk trading, investing, markets. You know, this is what we do. I honestly, there's probably not a day I don't check in the Discord since I've joined about 2 years ago. Not a day I don't check in. And it's not even just about, like, it's not all work and market related. It's just like, you know, I'm friends with everybody in there now. Like, I've become real close with a lot of these people. So, you should check us out, man. We're a pretty cool community. I like this chart, dude. I do like this chart. So, I'm going to tell you why I like it. You got cup and handle, all right? Fucking donkey loves these things. It's all right, little cup and handle forming here. You got your consolidation, all right? So maybe this breaks out. You can also draw it as a wedge, right? Depends on you. Like how do you see this pattern? I see it a couple different ways, but this is, you know, cup and handle, wedge pattern, symmetrical triangle breaking out, like however you want to put it. The key thing is this, look, on the weekly, low, high, higher low forming, and we're starting to break that. We're getting a weekly market structure shift. That's what I'm saying. I like this thing. If you get some weekly closes above this level around 141, this thing is looking bullish, and it probably is going to run up. Usually with these things, you take the widest part to the breakout. I mean, that takes us up to $200. It's a psychological level. Make a lot of sense to me. So what I'd be looking for on this, right? Key, get some closures above 141. Second idea is basically we don't want to gain acceptance back into this. Now that we've like kind of broken out, you know what I mean? We really don't want to start low doing this and working our way back down. If we take out this low at 123, 124, it's probably over for the the bull case in the short term or like the medium term. But look, man, as long as you're above this and you're pushing up, I don't see any reason why not. I would stay on it. Let me see what volume looks like on this thing. I don't know who asked for this, by the way, but I've never heard of this, but it's cool. Looks good. Volume's a little weak. Yeah, dude. I mean, daily market structure looks good. Everything looks good. It's got this 141 is going to be a pivotal area. And then I think, we'll see what happens at the high. That's the next big level, 149. Could just be a double top. Maybe it decides it doesn't want to, just because the pattern's there doesn't mean it has to break through. So just keep that in mind. But those are your levels. I try. To answer your question, Billy Bud, or not answer your question, to respond to what you said. I mean, dude, I've been trading for like 5-6 years. TradingView is my fucking, it's like your job is to drive, this is my vehicle. This is my cockpit. I'm a pilot. You know what I mean? Like it all starts on TradingView for me. So eventually you get used to it. It's like using any software though. I mean, if you're using like Excel, eventually over time you're going to become like a little wizard with it. People who are like not so good with it or not so experienced are going to be like, oh shit, this guy like just breezes through this. I know people, I'm still pretty shitty with TradingView. I know people that are like fucking, they go in depth with TradingView. Like there's so many different things you can do, dude. Like with the object trees and, templates and all that stuff. I'm just like, if this is an iceberg, I'm at the tip. I haven't gone below surface. Are you a day trader, swing trader? What's your trading background? My trading background is this. I started trading back in 2022. I started to learn to trade because I got burnt in last bull market with crypto. I started off primarily as a spot swing trader, right? I didn't scalp because I didn't know what scalping was. I didn't understand the difference. I just went higher time frames and I bought and sold cryptos. Made some money, did it with the stocks. I'd say I got really serious in 2023 and became profitable as a day trader. I do both, though. I do swing trade and I do day trade. When the time allows, swing trading is just less stressful, but it takes more patience. Day trading's more exciting, I guess, because you're doing it every day, but it's really not that exciting at the same time. But, you're doing it more frequently, so more opportunities. Even if you fuck up a trade, you have another opportunity the next day. So I do both, but I would say my bread and butter is probably my day trading. Swing trading is like my bonus at the end of the month. If that makes any sense at all. How'd I learn trading? By myself, dude. YouTube, a lot of bullshit. I read a lot of books. I mean, shit, dude. I joined a bunch of different groups. I was in crypto banter for a while. I was a mentor, moderator and mentor. So I like kind of picked up a lot of things as I went along my journey. So it wasn't like I learned and became great. I just like kind of figured it out enough on my own. And then I started expanding, going to like talking to other people, networking, learning new tools, like kind of ditching old things that don't work as well because I found things are better. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. You know what? Simplicity is key, brother. Simplicity is where it's at, dude. If you keep it simple and tell a story with your charts, and like somebody could look at your charts and be like, oh, I get what he's doing. I get what he's looking at. It's when you see a chart that you have no fucking clue. You see so many indicators, so many boxes, so many colors and lines. You're like, what the hell am I looking at? That's usually not a good thing. Because that trader probably doesn't know what he's looking at either. It just is what it is, bro. Sorry, I want to catch up on this. My banking app has changed Roundup and invest either in Bitcoin. What do you round up in? I don't do the Roundup. I should do Roundup, though, man. That's not bad. But I'll tell you what, though, Kings2093, if you want to learn trading and avoid a shit ton of fucking blown accounts, a lot of headaches, a lot of moments of like questioning whether you actually can trade or not, or trading's real, I'd say join a group. It doesn't have to be our group, but if you want to join our group, it's tacticaledgetraders.com. You can join the Discord from there. Check out the website. Tons of free educational stuff, man. We don't gatekeep any of our educational stuff, but join a group, man. Be around other people that are proven. Make sure they're proven traders. They're not just telling you and feeding you bullshit. I mean, you can always ask somebody for a P&L if you join their group. You know what I mean? And if they're real, they'll show you. A lot of them won't though. It's a little secret there. But yeah, dude. I mean, join a group, man. Be around other people, because it's like trying to learn anything by yourself. Like, can you learn to fight by yourself? Sure, but it helps to be around. Helps to go to a gym with guys who've been doing it for years, because they can just tell you all the shit that you're wasting your time doing, and the stuff that actually works and what you should focus on. And that's really the power behind that. Subscribed? Hell yeah, brother. Hell yeah, man. I appreciate that. Say what's up to me, and if you join the Discord, dude, make sure you join the Discord. If you do join the website, and if you do join, Unfair Philly is my tag. Hit me up. Let me know you're in there. Say what's up. We can chit chat about whatever, bro. I'm a pretty lax guy. I don't really like, not high strung or anything like that. That's what I'm saying. I'm down to earth. If you want to talk about markets, we could talk about that. If you want to talk about some other shit, well, don't matter. It doesn't have to be about crypto. I mean, half the stuff we talk about in the market, in our Discord, is not crypto. We have channels that are just for bullshit. Because that's what we do 90% of the time. Heck yeah, I'm going to a gym with a sweaty, hairy man. It's much better. Thoughts on WMT? I can look at that. Walmart. How is Walmart doing? Damn, Walmart's killing it right now, isn't it? We talked about this breakout a while back, right? This ascending triangle. We're like, this is going to break out. And it did. It did break out. It's going up, man. I wouldn't fade Walmart, bro. Don't. Just like they say, you ever hear the saying, don't catch a falling knife? Don't try to catch a falling knife on like longs too. Like, you don't want to try to short this. So as long as this thing's pushing up, man, it's in bull mode. Stand back, wait for pullbacks, get in. I would say the most immediate support I could see on the weekly is going to stand between 121 and probably this low right here. So this area here is going to be your big area. Between 116 and 121 is your big support. I'd say that's on the weekly. You could probably find some trend in here too. You got a little bit of a daily trend going in on Walmart right there. See how we got a little three points of contact. By the way, if you're drawing a trend, it's not an established trend or a confirmed trend until you have 3 points of contact. For me, if I see confluence here, I'm just a little educational stuff for anybody who's learning how to trade or wants to figure out why I draw the lines I do. Look, you got one touch, two touch on the daily, right? And then you see how this one kind of wicks through, but this one touches here. When I draw it through, if you actually look at it, the body of the candle still closes inside the trend. You'll have this sometimes, so you have to be able to identify those, and that comes with experience drawing trends and stuff like that, and identifying those little areas. But yeah, man, this is a good hotspot landing for you right here. So like around 121, 116. But I'd say this is the big area. So any big pullbacks, this is going to serve as support. So look for that. I'd say more locally. I mean, damn, dude, it's just up, dude. It's just up. I don't really know where it's going to go. I wish I could tell you. I think my measured move already got hit, to be honest. Let me just double check real quick. Yeah, the measured move got hit already. So it's beyond what I thought it was going to do. Even if I pull an inverse fib, right? Let me pull the extensions out real fast. Real ones will know what I'm talking about here. Real traders. So look, we've already passed the first extension, which was the 618, the 1618. So that was the first extension. You can see we got a little bit of a hiccup there, but we blasted through that. So we're on our way to 147 maybe. That could be the next target based on the Fibonacci extensions. That's just an estimate, guys. That is not like, don't fucking put your shorts up here and don't put your TPs up here, but it could be an area to watch. 250 lines up too. 150 lines up because it's like a whole number. Any MU entry? Micron? Entry points long. Oof. I mean, do you really want to long this, dude? Hold on, give me 1 second, guys. I just want to make sure my music's going. All right, so look. This has been in an uptrend for frickin' since last year. You had a consolidation here. Similar to the way the stock market consolidated, and then you've been in an uptrend since that. I don't know if I'd want to go long here, dude. So look, let's just break it down for what's happening in context, right? So you've been trending up since that previous breakout. You slipped it. You tried to reclaim it, failed. You tried to reclaim it again. You actually broke back in and then failed again. More likely than not, you're probably coming down to attack these lows here around 367, right? This is probably your next target at some point if you can't get back above this trend. If you lose this low, so 365 could be a target for a bounce. That's support. If you lose that level, man, honestly, dude, you could come all the way back down to 255. This would probably be a better area to look for a long. If I was looking for a long, I'd probably look down here. Around 255. I mean, you can look for short-term long, like scalp longs here, but that's not long-term. I'd say bigger level down here. And this would line up with, look, let me just give you a little, so look at this level here, right? Back in November. I want to see something real fast. So you see how this high here is there? I'm going to go show you what the S&P looks like, similar to that. So you see this high right here, this 6,100, kind of lines up with what that's doing, MU's doing, right? So I would imagine if the S&P starts to make its way back down to like 6,100, you might see MU. Hold on, let me go back to this chart. Probably down here. If that lines up, I'd probably be more inclined to buy because I want to see I would want to see the stock market bottoming out, like the indices, the bigger ones, bottoming out first. So maybe around 260 could be a good area, but hey, man, you still have to lose 365 first, so we'll see what happens there. But I think this is a bigger level for me. And hey, if you lose this level here, dude, there's another juicy spot right here. You could always look down to the 200 at the bottom of this wick, like 190, 200 could also be another area. Because essentially, all this is a little range here, right? So this is a range, breaks out. If you can't find support here and you get acceptance back in, this is the next likely area to go, you know? Bull. Weeble? Yo, what's up, Ben? How do you feel about prop firm trading for people with less money? I have a prop firm. I trade on BrightFunded. It's one of our affiliates. I went through probably about 6 or 7 prop firms before I found Well, I didn't find it. Actually, Ben found it. But before I actually started trading on BrightFunded, it's the only one I trade on now. Straight up. Like, I don't trade on anything else. So, that's just me. I think it's great. If you don't have money, it's great. But if you do have money, it's not great. That's the best way to put it. Because there are strict rules. They do limit how much money you can trade with. Like how big your position sizes could be. Because you have daily drawdowns and a very relatively low amount. You can only draw down on most exchanges about 5 to 10% on the prop firms before you blow up the account. So it forces you to use tighter risk management, which is good. It keeps your rules strict, but it also doesn't allow you to like really like play like a 1% loss strategy per trade. You have to play like a really like smaller version of that. So people tend to get bored with them really quickly and blow their accounts up trying to rush them. But hey, dude, if you're disciplined, if you're trying to learn how to trade, you don't have a lot of money, you can always trade for free, first off. But if you are trying to trade, yeah, dude, start with a small, go get a $5,000 prop firm account. Cost you $50. If you blow the account, let's say you lose the money on the account, you only lost $50. So, and then you go back to the drawing board, figure out what went wrong, work on your trading, work on your discipline, and then you go back and try it again. Yeah, not a problem, brother. Not a problem, dude. It's, you know what, man? I've been there. I've been there with the rough weeks on trading account. I've had, you know, I'm gonna tell you something straight up, and you're gonna hate. If this is you, I'm sorry, because I get it. Like, I get where you're at. I'm not trying to like pick on anybody. I'm just speaking to myself, really, at the end of the day. I've blown up accounts. Like, I could blow up an account in a day. One bad day could blow up an account. But to build an account, it takes weeks, months to actually respectfully build an account. But it could take one trade, honestly. But in most cases, it take one bad day of going on tilt, and I'll blow up my entire account. And months of work. So, like, just letting you know, man, I've done it. I've done it multiple times. So I know the struggle. I know the fucking wheels turning. Like, you're just spinning in circles, going nowhere. That's the hardest part. If you can get past that, fine tune it, figure out what's causing you to do that. Journal, number one, is the most important thing you can do. Journal it. Write down your mistakes. Write down your feelings. Write down your entries. And go look at that, back test it. Make sure you find the patterns that are causing you to do, fuck up your account, and just eliminate them. At the end of the day, it's all it is. For me, you know what it was? Jumping back in the trades after I made money on it, or holding a trade too long because I wasn't willing to take the profits, and then round tripping it and not moving my stop to break even, or not moving my stop to profits. Those are my big problems before. FOMO too. So now I find ways to combat those things, and I built the rules around those things. I give myself a limit. 2 losses in a day, I'm done. If I take 2 losses, that's it. I'm not sticking around for 3, 4, 5 losses straight. 2 losses, clearly something's not lining up. My system and the market are not lining up, or maybe my headspace isn't right. Whatever it is, I don't need to be trading right now. So, like, that's like kind of like what I built for myself. But yeah, built up 1.5 years blue in 3 weeks. Garrett, look, man, take my advice, dude. 1, journal. 2, don't give up. And 3, join our Discord, bro. I have at least a dozen people's names on my mind that could relate to you exactly right now. Just a dozen people that just came to mind who've done the same exact thing in the last year that you just did. So, and they're working on themselves and they're getting better. So it's not a bad idea, dude. Like, you know what I mean? To be around other people like that, because you can learn, and it also helps. It's just like a support group at the end of the day. Like, you being around people who fucking got hurt in the markets, but at the same time, you're trying to make each other better and you're trying to better yourselves. So it's not like we feel bad for each other and we just take pity. No, it's like, all right, you fucked up. Now, what are you going to do to fix it? Type of thing. That's the mentality we have. VIP gold signals, link in bio. Yeah. So I'm going to tell you something about this Neva Forex person. If you join somebody who's offering free signals, and by the way, I'm going to tell you straight up, Tactical Edge is not a fucking a signals group. If somebody's offering you signals and shit like that, fucking run. Or go take their signals and let me know when you're a millionaire and ask me why all their followers aren't millionaires already. Just saying, that shit don't work. But if you guys want to, go for it. Got a new project, 60% up on a day if y'all want to show love and join the community. Damn, dude, you guys are shelling hardcore on my TikTok. I must be popular. I've got like 19 people watching right now, and you guys are shelling hardcore shit. My bad, dude. I'm supposed to be looking at Webull. All right, look, dude, man. Webull has been pretty much in a downtrend for quite a bit of time. I had some levels marked out. These are all the major weekly levels, so I'm going to kind of just walk you through it real quick. So our low is right around, our support is around $5.75. We're pretty much there. $6, $5.75. We start going lower than that, we're going into what we call price discovery to the downside, which is not where you want to be. Resistance to the upside sits around about $7. And this is a weekly resistance, so $7. If you get back above $7, you have a chance to get back close to like 780 is your next major resistance. Now you can see here on the weekly, this is not a small resistance. It's been 1, 2, and there was the breakdown. So if you can break $7, getting back above $7.80 to $8 is going to be no small task. And then if you get back above that, it's $10, man. You just play it level to level with this thing. That's how it went down, level to level. It's how it's going to move back up if it is going to move back up. On the short time frames, look, man, we haven't really flipped market structure yet. I think the first thing to do is, one, not lose this previous low. And then two, if we can break this, that could be a daily market structure shift. If we can put in a higher low here and break this level right there, back test, that could be a daily market structure shift. That could be, now that's far away. None of that has happened yet. I'm just speculating. So that's one thing you could look for the bulls. But until that happens, we won't know. So I don't really see anything really identifiable here, like as far as a trend goes. I mean, it's just down, dude. This thing's rough. Maybe that right there on the daily. Got a little bit of a trend running right here. You're kind of bumping into it. So, you know, it kind of lines up like, hey, dude, if we break this 690 area, break this trend, daily market structure shift, could be the early signs of a push back up, maybe back up to $10. We still have to get through that $788 level first, though. But, yeah, that's the levels on Webull. What the hell is trading right now? Crypto's trading right now. I can check out gold, bro. What's with the sad face? Scuba? Thanks, man. That motivates you. I'm on a losing streak this past week. Still new in trading. Check out it. Dude, join the group, brother. Join the group. If you're like, I'll tell you one of the most significant things about being like around other traders. It's you're not going through all the fucking psychological shit alone, dude. That's the most, trading can be the most lonely place in the world if you let it be, because it's you and yourself. That's it. You and the market, nobody else. But if you're in a group and you're going through some stuff, man, sometimes just being around people who understand it and you can talk to, or you know what I mean, like just be accountable towards, helps kind of get that burden off your shoulder. It like gets the guilt away and lets you kind of move on, move forward with your life, move forward with your trading. I don't know, it helped me at least. I was a lone wolf for a while, bro. It was tough. I'm not gonna lie. It was tough out there. Can I make money on Venmo crypto? Fuck no, dude. Stay away from Venmo crypto. They're going to kill you on the spread, bro. If you're buying crypto, if you're buying crypto on Venmo, I'm pretty sure you can't even send it off of Venmo. It's either Venmo or PayPal. You can't send anything on or off of it. Like you can send money there, but you can't like take it off the wallet. Two, their crypto's in their custody when it's on their platform. Like, if you're gonna, the whole point of crypto is to have the crypto yourself, to be decentralized, away from like fucking centralized platforms like Venmo, PayPal, banks, all that kind of shit. And then they charge you more money, dude. Like Bitcoin could be $65,000, but they'll charge you 66. You know what I mean? You're gonna pay more. There's a spread. It's not worth it. Yeah, I'm gonna go check out gold. I'm sorry, I'm talking a lot. Gold's a tough one, dude. I haven't even looked at gold or silver in the last couple of days. It's just a really, really tough chart. One, because it's just consolidating, so it's not anything definitive. But what I will say about this one, right? All right, so look on the daily. We're at resistance pretty much around 5,100. If we can break 5,100, if this resistance pops, it's all-time highs, back to all-time highs. So this is really the line in the sand for the bulls. Like, or for the bears. If the bears want to keep it from going back up to all-time highs and possibly price discovery, they got to hold this $5,100 level. And the bulls got to hold this level here, man. Like, they got a little bit of a trend forming here. It's not like the cleanest, but you can see on the higher time frames, it looks a little bit like we're starting to form a little bit of a trend. So if you start to slip, right, reject, start to slip, start taking out lows, you know, this thing could run all the way back down this to 4,400 pretty quickly, because this could become a macro lower high. Now, I will say this about gold. This is not a good weekly candle. That's not, I called this could be a top. I said that. I was one of the first people in my group. I was like, I think this is a top on gold when I saw that candle. I'm like, that just don't look good. I could 100% be wrong. Like, I could be wrong. But, I mean, it's not going to change my mind. I still think this is a top. Or higher likelihood. I'm not going to say 100% certainty, but like higher likelihood this is a top. So I'm more inclined to look for lower highs if we can't break that. Lower highs to short back down make more sense to me right now. But right now the consolidation at this 5100 has kind of got me a little thinking that they're going to try to go through, man. It makes me think that they're going to try to bust through this thing. Now, what I am watching for is this. Look, I said, if you can break and flip this, it's running back up to all-time highs. But you got to keep an eye out for this. They may try to do this because liquidity is getting built right there. Liquidity is getting built above these highs. They could just do one of these fucking bullshit moves, which they do a lot, where they'll run this up, get everybody fucking trapped and bullish, and then they'll just, boom, slam it down. So keep an eye out for that. That's why if you're going to look to try to confirm the long, wait for the breakout, wait for the retest to confirm, and then go. This is where you would want a long if you were trying to catch a long to the top. Or on this trend maybe, but I just don't like the price action here. But yeah, I mean, 5,100 is the big level. If you lose 4,900, very good chance if you lose 4,900, you're coming back down to 4,500, 4,400. This level right here. That's probably going to open up the floodgates for this thing to roll over. What app do you recommend for a beginner? What do you mean app? App on what? Trading? You got to be more descriptive than that, man. It's too broad. Beginner in what? What's your goal? Tell me what your goal is, and I can maybe help you out a little bit. I could check out silver. Oh, so I did give this play the other day, right? In the Discord. Look, I'd say there's a possibility this happens, but this lines up with gold breaking out. Gold will need to break 5,100. If gold broke 5,100, I could see silver running back up to maybe 94. Why? Because if I pull a fixed range volume profile, sorry, I got to get rid of this crap. So I pull a fixed range volume profile. That's our value area low. That's our value area high. Our POC we're sitting at right now. It also lines up that we kind of have, and I love to use this, and I know it pisses people off, but we have that inverse head and shoulders potentially forming. If this right shoulder can hold above the value area low around 74, there's a good chance if it breaks this POC and can sustain, it's going to come back up here and test 94. Because what happens? Value area low, break POC, you back test, you run up. You come down, you test the POC, you run down to value area low. It just does, that's how profiles work, volume profiles. So, hey, we flip POC here. We sustain this level around 74. Flip POC. You could be looking to target 93, 94. If you flip this level, and I mean, this is a big if, right? If you flip this level, all-time high again. But it's lagging behind gold. So I think gold will need to hit its all-time high, and then this thing will probably play catch-up. But I don't know if it'll go all the way back to its highs. I think silver also topped out. I think this is going to be a trap, if I'm being completely honest. I think it's going to be more like this, where it's it's an inverse head and shoulders, but it's a slanted one. So it ends up doing one of these, is what I'm thinking. Where it breaks out, comes back up, doesn't actually clear the highs, puts in a lower high, then rolls over. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. If I were going to long this and look for a long here, I think I would target the value area high around 94 and get out. I wouldn't even try to test my luck in above that. Could it run? Yeah, but I'm not interested. I don't know if it's going to dump from here. Look, the only way gold dumps is if we lose this value area low. We start losing 74, man, this thing could come down to 70. If we lose 70, it's 50, 54, back down here. This level right here. That's the big level. So you lose 70, I think you come down to 54 eventually. IWM. What is IWM? Russells. Oh, didn't the Russell get... Had a nice little bounce today. All right, so look. Russell's been in an uptrend for quite a bit of time. It's still in an uptrend. It's holding a key level right now around 258, 260. As long as it stays above that, that's good, man. I mean, its market structure looks okay. It's consolidating. I think on the higher time frames, you got to watch this trend, right? This stems back from April lows, the tariff lows. I think it runs the same as S&P, although it looks a little bit more bullish right now than S&P. And it's flagging out. So this thing actually might have another pop, potentially. But early signs of a breakdown is if you start to lose this low and then you lose this trend, right? Something like that. That'd be the signs of a breakdown for me. It also... Just kidding. I remember someone said they didn't like Head and Shoulders because I said it too much. So I do it on purpose now. Sorry, guys. Adjust my mic. Crypto fucked. Yeah. It's putting it lightly. I got you. You got puts on silver? Yeah, man. Not a problem, bro. IO and Q. What time is it? 8, 10 o'clock? Ooh. Interesting one. All right. You want the good news or the bad news? Good news is I TA'd this before. So I'm kind of familiar with it. I don't like that trend. That didn't work out last time. All right, so here's the thing, dude. We lost a major level. This $35 level is huge. We didn't want to lose that because it kind of lines up with the neckline of this Head and Shoulders. It's staring you in the face, right? If you lose this level, what's the next logical level? It's down here. It's about 18 bucks. Close in a little bit more, right? You can see we're deviated below. We banged on it. We're starting to, we're trying to get through. We're chipping away at it. So look, if this can eventually pop through, reclaim, then hell yeah, man, this thing could run back up. It could run back up into I'd say 40s, 50s. I'm not going to put an exact price target on it, but 40s, 50s would make sense. Anywhere into this consolidation right here. That's where you probably get chopped up a little bit because it chopped there. So, somewhere into that area, 45, 50 maybe. But it has to reclaim this $36, $37 level. If it doesn't do that, then all bets are off. And then it's down to 18. HYMC. Can I look at analyze? You gotta give me the ticker for that one, man. Can I analyze SCHD? Yeah, I can do that. I got you. I just read that wrong. Oh, man. All right, so I had this marked off before, right? I guess I did this one before. So look, we're above weekly resistance. So 31, so that's support now. And then we're below 43, which was once resistance. So if you look at this right here, right? So when we had broken out originally here, and we flipped 31 into support, we ran up into about 43 where we pulled back a little bit, then we ran up into 50, 60 bucks, right? Well, the same thing on the way down. This broke down, it back tested, turned 43 into resistance. It's coming back down to test 30, 31. So if you lose 31, man, it's back down to this gap here. Probably back down to $20, maybe down to $17 to fill this CME gap. And it will make a lot of sense, right, if it did lose this level. Above 31, I mean, look, this is your range. If you break above this level, you expect to attack this high here. And look, dude, here's the thing. If you get back above that level, look how the volume falls off here. See how there's nothing until we get up to 67 bucks? It could move pretty quickly above this level. It doesn't have to just stop here. It could run all the way up to that $67, $70 level. So, because the volume is not there. It's non-existing. I'm going to show you on the volume indicator. My VRVP. Sorry about that, guys. I'm just adjusting my screen so you guys can see it. All right, so you can see there's no volume really above this level. So up to here, there's nothing there. So we'll see. Be up above 150. Yeah, dude. Yeah, maybe. What does it do? It's just a mining holding corporation. Do you know what makes them unique? They have government contract or something? I'm curious because I know nothing about it, so I kind of want to educate myself a little bit. They have a massive silver deposit they mine. Yeah. And it makes sense that they're popping right now because silver's going up. But I'll tell you what, though. Because silver pulled back, this pulled back, I wonder which pulled back first. Let's take a look. Let's do some... let's go to the daily and see which actually dumped first. Because one could be a front runner. So the high got put in right here. We're going to go to the 4 hour to do this. So Monday, January 26th at 8 a.m. That's when hydro plant topped. When did silver top? Look at that, guys. So silver didn't top until Thursday. So hydro topped 3 days earlier than it did, earlier that week. So maybe mining is a way to front run silver. So we could look at, you could look at this company. If this company's pulling back, I mean, look, depending on what this does, which is funny. Remember we talked about the inverse head and shoulders on silver? Look what the hydro company's doing. If this breaks out, I'm going long silver, is all I'm going to say. Because this is front running silver right now. So if this breaks out, look at that gap. Dude, that, you know what, man? Look at that right there. The head and shoulders would take you up to the top of the gap. Let me get that gap in there right there. Damn, dude. That could play out. And that would line up with silver doing that back test, right? Silver doing a back test back up here. I mean, they look very similar. I would watch that one to see what happens. I'm putting this on my list, man. Thank you. I learned something new today. Follow mining companies for silver and gold. Do you look at crypto? Yeah, dude. I looked at so much crypto already. Hey, Jack, go back into the first like half hour, 45 minutes of the stream. That's all I did was look at others, which is, altcoins minus excluding the top 10. I looked at Bitcoin. We looked at XRP. We looked at Aster. What else did I look at? Sui, Say. I looked at a few things. Yeah. I haven't looked at Netflix, but I know Netflix looks like shit. There it is. I know from yesterday when Ben was charting this. I said this is a bear flag a while back. My last analysis, I was like, that's a bear flag. It's probably going to break down. I said, if it breaks up, it has to reclaim trend to go up. But I said, more probability we go down. And we are going down. And what was the level I talked about? I said, look, if Netflix lost this trend, let me clean up this chart a little bit so we can make this a little more presentable. Let's get rid of all the levels. Let's go to the weekly. I said, if we lost this trend, which, look, I'd say 95% of the stock market in the U.S. looks the same. Go back to either 2022 or you go back to the tariff lows last March. They have significant bottoms at either of those levels. All right. This trend stems from 2022. That is a multi-year trend, and we lost it. And I said if we lose it, we're probably coming down to the next level, which is maybe $70, and we're on our way to $70. So I think $70 is our next major level to even look for any type of support unless we reclaim trend. And the reason is because it's the previous high that we broke out of on Netflix. And it's not weird for these things to come back and retest their all-time highs. Let's look back here. Back in 2017, what did Netflix do? It broke out right here on $13 and eventually made its way back down to almost $13. It front ran a little bit, but it made its way down there. So, I mean, hey, look, we've already put in a significant move down, so there's probably going to be a bounce around 70 or an area to watch around 70 is better to put it. If you want to watch it on the short term, dude, just fucking get rid of this. Let me get rid of some of my drawings. Just take a trend line. Pop that bitch in somewhere. Let me see if this thing fits. I don't know. Man, maybe a little bit. You could run it up to this high here, right there. When you break that trend, you're probably going to, you're probably going to start looking along again. Until you break this trend, I would probably say, we'll look down here at 70 and look for price to do this eventually. Maybe you'll get a little pop. So, it's got daily bullish divergence. Let's look. Ooh, where do you see bullish divergence? You mean here? Yeah, it did, but it played out already. So look, daily bull, divs, right? Came down and it played out in a little pop there and it got rejected. And now momentum shifting back down. The minute we lose this low on momentum, the daily bull div is canceled. It's invalidated. So just keep that in mind. But if we do break trend, then maybe that was the early sign this was the local bottom. But bull divs usually come in waves. They'll do shit like this. Well, they'll like, it'll stack up. You'll start to see this stack up like that as this thing is going down. Or something like that, you know what I mean? Or it'll reset. It'll reset all the way back down to here. Put in like a higher low like that or something like that. So, possibility, something to watch. Bull divs just give you like a, think of baseball. Bull divs are a warning track that you're getting close to support or resistance or area of interest. That's all it is. It doesn't mean you're there yet. You haven't hit the wall yet, but you're getting close. Start paying attention. Oh, RSI. Yeah, I mean, it's there. Man, I'm not trading anything tonight, man. Let me go look at SCHD. Someone did ask for that. Schwab. Jesus. I mean, Schwab's doing good. Let me see. Sorry, I need some more music. So I stay interact. Like when I'm charting, man, I have to listen to music because it helps me like kind of like focus a little bit. Stay in the groove. All right. So your big levels, $26. You can see we bounced off it. It also lines up with this trend here. It's also the previous breakout, right? It was resistance, 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 right? All here, resistance. And so we flipped it and it became support. And now it's support again. So 26 is going to remain support until it's not. So, and then you have this trend. So look for pullbacks into the trend to continue up. If you start to slip the trend, look for retest of 26. If you lose 26, man, this thing's coming down. I'd say the first area of interest is probably down here around 21, 22. The lower the range will probably be the first target. If it drops below that, man, it could come down. But we're not there yet, so let's just play it level to level. You do have this high here to watch too, around $30, the whole number. So, you know, depending on how high this pushes up, maybe it pushes up a little bit more, could line up that's the bounce point, you know? So just monitor it from there. I'd say those are the levels, dude. I don't really like, I don't know. It's a tough one to track. When they're like uptrends like this, man, they're tough. You just kind of have to find what's there and just use it. You got a more localized trend, but it's not, it's confirmed. More localized trend down here around $30, which lines up with that low we were just talking about. So a little higher than that 30, around 31. More local level. Yeah, just watch it, dude. It's just ranging right now. See how it's looking low range? Starts to break down from the range. Probably coming down here. Starts to break up. No, I haven't done SLV. I'm giving the market a 7% crash. It's a crash. So historically, February and March, after a midterm year, February, March are usually the months we rally. But at some point in February, the S&P puts a high in, and then begins to go down from there. And then I think everything else is kind of like front running a little bit, so they're rallying. Now things are starting to rally a little bit because they're like low caps are starting to move. Like the Dow was moving for a little bit, Russell's was moving. But I do think that you're right. March, April tend to usually be bearish months anyway. Q2 just tends to be a bad time in the markets, whether we're in a bull market or bear market. So I would expect Q2 to be a bearish month. We did look at silver. We just didn't look at this one. So we looked at regular silver. I'll give you the silver analysis. We're looking for the inverse head and shoulders to play out. We're looking for a potential, if it does break back above POC, if it can sustain a move above 77, 78, there's a good chance you get back up to like 94. And support sits around 70. You don't want to lose 70. March has triple witching. Ooh, yeah, March does have a triple witching. You're right. I looked at Schwab. I looked at SPY. VTI. What is VTI? Looks like the stock market. Same analysis as SPY, dude. Like, this is your range. That's your range right there, bro. You're at the range low. You're bouncing off the range low. This is a deviation. If you start losing this range low around 335, I start to get worried. You start to lose 330, it's probably coming down to 320. So, right there, if you lose this level here. So this is kind of like the level by level. So you start to lose this, you come down here. If you lose this, you're coming down here. If you can bounce here and hold, you could come back up, maybe attack the highs again. Maybe come back up here, boom. Who knows? We'll see. Just ideas. Oh, you want me to put a range in there? I could put a range in there. I usually do ranges. Oh, I'll show you right now. So what I do is this. Do a parallel channel. All right. Drag that over. There's your dotted line. There's your dotted line for you. Happy? And it makes sense, too. It's the 50% point of the range. So we're rejecting off it. That's not a good sign. You don't want to reject off the 50%. Tap, tap, tap. I appreciate it, man. Bingo. I'm going to take a quick look at a couple of charts real quick. Then I think I want to call it, guys. There's a few charts I posted last night in the Discord. They're actually pretty good. VRT was one. So I'm watching VRT here. Vertiv. The play hasn't happened yet, but I said, hey, watch for a dip back into the gap, right? Which we got today. So what we're looking for is either a bounce at the gap. And I said the first pass of the gap. I even said this yesterday. The first pass of the gap, they're going to bounce it. Wait for the bounce. Wait for the acceptance back into the gap. And then you can run it back down to 210. So you could probably run, if it gets back below 230, you can probably run it back down to 210 on this one. This was a play I'm watching for. What was another one I had too? Called Apple. Apple's another one. We got another rejection here on Apple. There's another one I gave in the Discord. I said if we lose this trend here on Apple, it's coming back down to probably 200, maybe 215. So this is the target if Apple loses this trend. Down here. So this is another big one I'm looking at. I'm waiting for it to actually break below trend and then boom. What else am I looking at? CMG, I gave this trade out a few days ago in the Discord. I gave it out on the live too. That was the trade. It's in play right now. That's Chipotle. You got the daily market structure shift right there. If you're not in on this play, you can always wait for the back test because we had the daily shift right here. You can wait for the test back up. It could even go higher than this. As long as it doesn't go higher than this level here around 40 bucks, any lower high is shortable based on market structure on the daily. I will say when. Do me a favor, dude. You're in the Discord. Throw those in the TA requests in the Discord, and I'll get that TA out for you so I can look at them, and I'll have it ready by Sunday. Because Sunday I'll go live again, so I'll be able to go over that stuff on Sunday. But anyway, guys, I'm going to call it, man. It's been 2 hours, 2 hours on a Friday night. I appreciate everyone tuning in. We got 44 viewers. I think at one point on TikTok, we had up almost 70, 80. I didn't even check the YouTube. So I appreciate you guys are all real ones for being here on a Friday, talking about the markets, looking at the charts while everybody else is probably out being fucking degenerates. You're being responsible. So it's a step in the right direction. Do I specialize in one instrument? I don't know what that means. No, I have a couple different charts I look at. Tesla's my last one, then I'm jumping, guys. All right? I'll look at Tesla because someone did ask for that earlier and I didn't get to it. So look, Tesla, I don't think anything's changed for me on Tesla. Tesla was pretty simple for me. We lost this major trend stemming back from March, April tariff lows. And right now we're failing to get back above. And I said, hey, look, I said it back down here. I said, look for the retest back up to trend, potentially up to the golden pocket. And look what we did. We wicked back up there this week. Right into my zone. And we're putting a lower high in. For me, this was an opportune moment to go short. You still may have opportunities to go short, but I think at this point, I think any back tests back up here are shorting opportunities, in my opinion. Not financial advice, guys. But I would say resistance is sitting around 437, 440, and I would say support at this point is sitting around 385. Oh, dude, I know, man. I've been fucking screaming about this one. I've been screaming about Apple, a few of these ones to short. I've been talking, dude. If you go back in the Discord, I was talking about shorting the S&P back in November. I'm dead serious. Like, I actually was like, I'm gonna go short. Like back here, I was like, we're starting to top out. And look, we did top. We topped out, and we've been kind of sweeping the highs on every single one. What is this? What happens when they're doing this? High, they sweep it. They sweep it, and then they sweep it. They're building shorts. The market makers, the whales, the smart money, they're building shorts at these highs. That's all I can see right now. And the only way they prove me wrong is if they start to break the all-time highs and continue up. But I think they're building shorts here. Anyways, guys, I am going to jump. My name is Eddie. I am a trader at Tactical Edge Trading. Check out our website. It is free to join. Tons of free educational content. If you're trying to get into trading, you're trying to learn more, try to expand your knowledge, tons of free stuff on there. Join our website, tacticaledgetraders.com. And then you can check out our Discord. It's free as well. Free trading community to join. 1,600 plus members. A bunch of us are active. We live trade in there. We do accountability groups. We're just a community, man. We bounce ideas off. I throw my charts in the Discord. Ben does. Nick does. Tons of other traders do as well. If you're not following on TikTok, give us a follow on TikTok. Same on YouTube. Subscribe and hit the like. I appreciate everybody for showing up today. And I'll see you guys on Sunday, man. I'll be here around 9:30 Sunday, all right? Later, y'all.